The restaurant fell silent as a young woman's voice cut through the air. If you can't even afford the menu, why waste my time? At the table, a man dressed in worn clothes lowered his gaze, not with shame, but with quiet strength. No one knew that this so-called poor man carried a story that would soon change every life in that room. The room smelled faintly of polished wood and fresh bread, but tension drowned out comfort. A woman sat upright, her polished nails tapping against the glass in front of her, her lips curling in irritation. Across from her sat a man in a faded jacket, his shoes scuffed, his silence unshakable. Her voice, sharp and cold, cut across the crowded restaurant. Why did you even agree to meet me if this is all you can bring? People turned, eyes flicking with curiosity, judgment, and whispers. The man did not defend himself. He simply lowered his gaze, his silence heavy, his dignity intact. In that silence, the weight of years pressed upon him. This was no ordinary man. Behind those tired eyes lived 1,000 untold sacrifices. He had walked through deserts of fire, not for money, but for a flag, for brothers who never made it back, for the freedom of strangers who would never know his name. Once, his hands had steadied a rifle under a burning sun, his body bruised and torn, his heart carrying the weight of fallen comrades. Now those same hands rested calmly on the table, steady, despite the storm. He remembered nights when gunfire replaced lullabies, when the scent of iron and smoke clung to his clothes for weeks. He remembered a brother in arms whispering, "Don't let them see you fall," just moments before silence claimed him forever. And so he didn't fall, not then, not now. The woman laughed bitterly, her voice rising to fill the space. "I thought tonight I'd meet a gentleman. Instead, I meet this." Her hand gestured with disdain, dismissing him as if he were a shadow, not a man. Around them, people watched in silence. No one stepped in. No one spoke. Some hid their discomfort behind lowered eyes. Others smirked, complicit in quiet cruelty. But the man remained still, silent, his dignity louder than their whispers. She leaned closer, her words dripping with contempt. "Do you even have a future? Do you even have a plan?" The man lifted his eyes for the first time. Calm, steady, a storm restrained behind weary lids. He spoke softly, his voice carrying not arrogance, but a truth carved by sacrifice. "A plan? I had one. To live so others could see today. To bleed so strangers could be safe. To walk back home carrying memories that never let me sleep. That was my plan." The restaurant froze. His words weren't loud, but they struck like thunder. For the first time, the woman's voice faltered, her confidence shaken. From a corner table, a man stood, his suit pressed, his eyes filled with recognition. He walked forward, his footsteps echoing across the stunned silence. Placing a hand on the seated man's shoulder, he spoke with reverence. "I know him. He saved my brother's life overseas. Without him, my family would be mourning today instead of living." The crowd shifted, whispers of awe replacing murmurs of mockery. One by one, faces softened, shame replacing curiosity. The woman's expression collapsed into disbelief as truth shattered her shallow judgment. Another diner stood, then another. In moments, the room transformed. People rose from their seats, standing not out of pity, but out of respect. Silent, unified, their eyes locked on the man who had endured humiliation without flinching. The woman's cheeks burned red, her polished nails now trembling against her glass. She tried to speak, but words failed her. In that silence, her judgment turned to dust. The man remained seated, still calm, still silent. But the weight on his shoulders felt lighter, as if his brothers, his memories, his sacrifices had finally been seen, even for just a moment. He did not smile, nor did he boast. His only words lingered in the air, timeless and unshakable. True worth isn't worn on the body. It's carried in the soul. The crowd lowered their heads, their respect etched in silence. Some wiped their eyes. Others whispered apologies under their breath, not to him directly, but to the world forever forgetting the quiet heroes who walk among them unseen. The woman stood, her pride shattered, and slipped out the door. No one followed. No one looked back at her. All eyes remained on the man who had revealed nothing of wealth, yet everything of value. And in that moment, the room understood, poverty is not the absence of money. Poverty is the absence of gratitude, of humility, of respect. Respect is not measured in clothes, in money, or in power. It is measured in sacrifice, in quiet strength, and in the dignity of those who never ask for recognition yet deserve it most. Wherever you are watching from, take a moment to reflect. Would you recognize silent strength if it stood before you? Or would you, too, mistake it for weakness? Comment below where you're watching from and share your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to subscribe for more untold realities that honor dignity, sacrifice, and respect.